Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to do a little comparison of cylinder beads. So I've chosen 3 of what I consider the most commonly used cylinder beads, and that would be a Miyuki Delica, Toho Treasures, and Toho Aiko. And I've gotten a lot of questions over the years about which one to use when, and in what project, and what do I think of them and such. So I'm just going to give a little comparison, and then you can really decide for yourself which one, or maybe all 3 are right for you. So what we'll do during this comparison is I'm going to work up a little swatch, and then we're going to compare size, shape, consistency of the beads, the price, how much you have to cull the beads in order to get the right ones, the ones that you're happy with. So it'll be fun to take a look at all that, and who knows, we might find out some interesting things about these beads. All right, so let's get started. Okay, before we get into looking at the beads closely and the swatches, let's just get some stats on the beads. So all of the prices I'm giving you, they're going to change according to website. I've gotten from Eureka Crystal Beads website, and for the specific tubes, gram size tubes that I'm using here. Now, you can buy in bulk and it's going to be different. There are sales and such. I just wanted to give a general price. So when I look at, let's say the gold one on each one, I've chosen here similar gold finishes. So this gold finish on the Miyuki Delica is the Duracoat galvanized gold. It's the perma finish, which I think is probably the equivalent to the Duracoat galvanized. So it's the perma finish for the Toho Treasure and the Toho Aiko. The blue bead is just an opaque color, and the white is a luster. And so the prices change depending on, the more finish you have on it, it's just going to be more money. So just to give you a general idea, let's do the gold one. So the Delica, for a Duracoat galvanized gold, 7.6 gram tube, you get 1,520 beads, and it is around $7.75. And mind you, there are always coupons. You can buy in bulk and such. I'm just giving you just a general. So the Toho Treasure, that's a perma finish galvanized starlight, which is close to this color. A 7 gram tube, you get 1,400 beads, $6.69. And the Toho Aiko, again a perma finish, 4 grams, 620 beads, $6.50. So you're getting 7 grams, 7.6, and just 4 grams here. Okay. For the opaque colors, the Miyuki Delica opaque color, again 7.6 gram tube, 1,520 beads, about $3.50 minimum, and then depending on the more finishes you add, it goes up, of course. The Toho Treasure is a 7 gram tube, 1,400 beads, $3.29, $3.39, they go up. And the Toho Aiko opaque color, 4 grams, around 620 beads, and $4.59, and you can go all the way up to getting rhodium plated and palladium plated, and it goes sky high from there. But these are sort of the basics. All right, so let's get a look. Let's open them up and we'll take a look at each bead side by side. All right, so I put some beads on these pins so you can take a look at what they look like when they're right next to each other. So I just took them out of the tube the way they were. I didn't cull anything. In other words, I didn't look for the best sizes. I just took them out as, just pick them up. So my top pin has Delicas, my middle pin has Treasures, and my bottom pin has the Aiko beads. So if you notice, the Delica beads, they're pretty consistently straight, round, their edges look good. The Treasures are a little less consistent. Like if you notice, that second bead in there is a little smaller. This one's kind of bigger on the bottom. So they're a little less consistent in size. So I would have to pick through these a little bit more to get this kind of consistency. And then if you look at the Aiko beads, and of course these are the most expensive ones, they're very well cut. They're precision cut. If you notice, they go together beautifully. They're just about pretty much all the same size. I would say, looking at the 3 of them, of course, the Aiko bead is probably the most consistent. the treasure is the least consistent, and Miyuki's Delicas are kind of right in the middle. So I'm going to work up those swatches. I'll come back with those, and you can get a look at how they look swatched. Okay, here are my swatches, so let's take a look at them. So just to give you a little background in what I did, I used flat even count peyote, and I did each one with a peyote quick start card, and I just did the whole swatch on the card, and then I took it off the card because it was pretty small. So I thought that would give me the most consistent piece. I love these also. I never use regular, I always start with these cards. Doesn't matter what peyote I'm using. I adore them. All right, so let's pull in super, super, super tight. All right, so here are my Delicas. Here are the Toho Treasures, and here are the Toho Aiko beads. So let's start with the Delicas. So when I made these swatches, I did not cull any of the beads. In other words, I didn't take out any of the beads which I thought were not quite as consistent in size as my swatch was going along. If there was a broken bead, yes, I took that out. I didn't find any broken beads in any of them, but I didn't cull anything. So this is what I came out with my first swatch with the Delicas. If you notice, they're really nice and consistent, look pretty good. I have a little bump out right here, and that's because I did find one or two beads I could have culled in the gold ones, and that probably made it bump out here because I didn't. So had I just, culled those beads, I probably would have had a nice straight edge. That looks pretty good. The beads themselves look pretty good, pretty consistent in size. Let's go to the Toho Treasures. So again, no culling. I did find 5 or 6 beads that I could have put aside that were just slightly bigger or smaller. You can see here how small that bead is. This is a big guy, that's a little smaller. You can see I have a significant bump out here and here. Needless to say, if I had culled the beads, I probably would have had a nice straight edge as well, but there would have been more beads that would have been put aside with the Toho Treasures. Other than that, they look pretty good. And of course the Toho Aikos. These, it's really hard to compare them with the other two because these are twice the price. The precision cut, they are machine cut beautifully. Look at that. Straight edge, straight edge. If you look at the beads, they just look so even. The edges are perfect. Just a very, very, very beautiful precision cut bead. But again, almost twice the price as these guys. So what do we get from all this? I don't know. You have to decide for yourself which is right for you. The ones I use the most are the Delicas. I've been using these for years. I think they're beautifully consistent. Culling is just a few beads here and there. It's not a lot. I haven't used Treasures a lot, but I am finding that I'm having to do a lot of culling with the Toho Treasures, so I'm throwing away more beads than I would, quite a few more than I would with the Delica beads. These two, very close in price. So if I was going to choose between the two, I'd probably get these. Now, as I said, prices will depend on sales, how many you buy, bulk. Seasonally, some colors are more expensive than others, but I think the prices are very similar. Again, the Toho Aiko, the most precision cut and the most even swatch, they're going to be about twice the price. So you decide which ones you want to use most for your beading. I think if I'm going to do a lot of flat count peyote with, lots of patterns, and I would probably go with the Aiko bead. The Delica beads are just beautiful as well. I use these all the time for bezels. This is the only one that is, it's going to look pretty. I've done bezels with this, and it does look pretty. It's just that I have to cull more beads. That's all, to get that consistency that I have with the other two. All right, so there you go. There's a little comparison of the 3 most, I say, commonly used cylinder beads. So you decide which one you use. And if you have any comments, anything I may have missed, anything I may, that you can add to this, let me know in the comments down below. And I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.